Social update UG. Congo turns heat on Uganda over M23 rebels. What you need to know is that legislators in DRC have accused Uganda for working with the rebels and called for the termination of Operation Shuja. Literally meaning that Congolese have decided that Ugandan troops should leave their country and get out. A group of Congolese parliamentarians and civil society activists have petitioned President Felix Tshisekedi to sever diplomatic relations with Uganda, accusing it of supporting advancing M23 rebels. They also want Kinshasa to terminate the year-old joint military offensive by armies de la République démocratique du Congo and Uganda People's Defense Force, codenamed Shuja, launched last November to annihilate the Allied Democratic Forces rebels, ADF. They want that contract between the Congolese army and the Ugandan army to be stopped so that the UPDF should go back to Uganda, destabilizing the peace in Congo. That's what they're saying. In Kampala, State Minister for International Relations, Mr. Henry Oriem Okero, dismissed the claims that Uganda was involved in subversion against Tshisekedi's government as hogwash, rubbish, and unsupported with evidence. The allegations are false. The allegations are false. That is rubbish. There is no iota of evidence, he said yesterday, challenging the accusers to produce an incriminating evidence against Uganda, arguing that a peaceful Congo is beneficial to Uganda. Minister Oriem Okero added, those accusers are attention seekers. They should do some research and bring evidence. Uganda doesn't support M23 rebels. Uganda is seeking total peace in eastern DRC. Together. But the Congolese are saying Ugandan troops should get out. They should really get out because they are really destabilizing the peace and they are supporting the M23 rebels. The adverse naming of Kampala comes months after Congo cut diplomatic ties with Rwanda it accuses of aiding M23, expelled its ambassador, and stopped Rwanda Air, the country's national carrier, from DRC airspace. Kigali denied allegations too. Highly placed Ugandan government and security sources, speaking on condition of anonymity due to sensitivity of the matter, said Kampala had been briefed that Kinshasa was contemplating similar actions, including blocking Uganda Airlines' lucrative flights there. The flare-up in violence has stalled the upgrade of bitumen of 223 kilometers of roads linking Beni, Goma, and Butembo in eastern DRC, 10 months after the governments of Congo and Uganda handed over the works to Ugandan construction firm Dot Services. It is unclear if the company is being paid after placing equipment on site during December 2021 launch. During the December 2021 launch. This publication understands that the $330 million project to be bankrolled by Uganda separately encountered unexpected headwinds following a last-minute demand by some officials in Kinshasa that Dot Services pays taxes and subcontracts the engineering works fully or partially to a Congolese company. I'm supporting Congo in what they're doing. Congolese, you should wake up and we should try to unite and fight all these guys who are trying to destabilize peace in the region. Together. Yeah. The Congolese people woke up and they said, no, that Ugandan company cannot build roads in Congo. They should subcontract either fully or partially to the Congolese companies and they should be paying taxes together. There were other adverse developments to the capture by M23 in July of Bunagana, a major customs point in Congo on the Congolese side, alongside a ban by the rebels on cross-border commerce, has left particularly Ugandan exporters counting losses, yet DRC offers Uganda the biggest market share in the region. But this economic fortnight orbited in the risk zone following a whirlwind of activities in Congo on Monday. marked by public pronouncements and street protests in Beni City, where demonstrators carried placards jointly denouncing President Museveni and his Rwandan counterpart Paul Kagame for their alleged support for M23 rebels. I can just imagine the Ugandans who are living there right now. They could be mobbed, man, and this is not even their fault. It's our government's fault. Mr. Pepin Kavota, president of the civil society in Beni, said on the other side in Rushuru, Uganda is helping the M23 rebels alongside Rwanda, but when you come here in the Beni territory, there is some kind of hypocrisy. It is on that basis that we say that our country must end the diplomatic relations not only with Rwanda but also with Uganda. Political magazine quoted Mr. Kavota as having said, I've put some photos. You can see that scrolling photo. Those are anti-Rwandan and Ugandan protesters. Anti-Rwanda and anti-Uganda protesters marching on the border of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda in Goma on Monday. The uproar in Congo comes a fortnight before members of the United Nations Security Council Sanctions Committee on DRC Congo are expected to visit for first-hand assessment of the situation on the ground. The snowballing violence in eastern Congo, where the world body runs its largest peace missions, gained global traction after 8 UN peacekeepers perished in March this year when a helicopter carrying them to an attack zone came down together. Government officials briefed on the planned visit said the UNSC members will establish whether states neighboring Congo are complying with and have not breached any sanctions regime. Resolution 1533 obliges UN member states, particularly those neighboring Congo, not to permit their territories to be used for transit, supply of arms to DRC, or for sanctioned individuals to travel, and enforce seizure or freezing of assets of such persons, prohibit their airspace to aircrafts used in abuse of the sanctions, and ensure no transportation violations by neighbors and Kivu provinces. And ensure no transport violations by neighbors to Ituri and Kivu provinces in Congo. We were unable to confirm reports that a team of UN experts also planned a trip to independently investigate the accusation leveled by DRC against Uganda and Rwanda, which has separately claimed that Kinshasa is harboring subversive elements against Kigali. Sources briefed on the regional security situation said Congo's suspicion against Uganda rose after Kampala signed a military cooperation with Kigali in May this year, under which Rwanda reportedly established intelligence coordination presence at the headquarters of Uganda's chieftaincy of military intelligence in Barara and Kisoro, a Ugandan town bordering DRC. One of the key Rwandan officials involved in the coordination agreement was Emmanuel Ruzindana, then a director of operations in the country's military intelligence directorate, whom President Kagame on September 29th promoted to a colonel and deployed as his country's military attaché to Uganda. The Congolese are waking up and they're saying Rwanda out, Uganda out. Negotiations of the military cooperation were spearheaded by Ugandan Chief of Military Intelligence, Major General James Birungi, and his Rwandan counterpart, Brigadier General Vincent Nyakarundi, as part of the border diplomatic charm offensive led by First Son General Muhoozi Kainerugaba to normalize hostile relations between Uganda and Rwanda. In a tweet shortly after the military spy masters signed the deal, General Muhoozi, who then was UPDF Command of Land Forces, praised leaders and armies of the two countries for revitalizing our strong alliance. In other prior posts on the microblogging site, the First Son pledged Uganda's backing of Rwanda in any fight, pricking the heart of Congo that had publicly proclaimed Rwanda was an adversary. Muhoozi was seen quoting, saying that Uganda should always be arms in arms and should always back Rwanda in any fight. Defense and military spokesperson Brigadier Felix Kulaige last night told this publication that he was not aware of any military pact under which Rwanda would establish presence in Uganda for intelligence coordination. Accusing Uganda of supporting M23 rebels, he urged was an insult to Uganda. Do they have evidence? We have facilitated the FARDC, treated their wounded soldiers and handed over their soldiers with their weapons to their country. Brigadier General Kulaige said in respect to a counter-offensive by UPDF earlier in the year that expelled M23 that had overwhelmed Congo troops and temporarily took control of Bunagana town on DRC side, he tasked Congolese making the allegations to share supporting evidence. Speaking early on Monday, Congo's Minister of Communications, Patrick Muyaya, said they were investigating whether Uganda had a hand supporting the rebels, making battlefield gains together. What you need to know, we are operating with Uganda in a clear way in Beni against ADF terrorists. We waited for information in this direction, saying that there would have been involvement on the Ugandan army in the latest events. These facts are being traced, he said in comments published by Politico magazine. The M23 is a rebel group formed in 2012 and whose grievances span political marginalization, claims that of mainly the Tutsi, a tribe spread across borders, botched implementation of agreements reached with Joseph Kabila's administration, birthed resurgence of the current hostility in which President Tshisekedi and his government has characterized the fights as terrorists. Together, highly placed security source told this publication that a military powerhouse in Southern Africa is supporting Kinshasa with advanced aerial technology to capture information on military, troop and equipment movement into Congo from neighboring countries. After borrowing their way to conquer Bunagana border town on the Congo side in July, to the alarm of regional leaders, the M23 fighters have added more territories under its control ahead of an expected counter-offensive by the East African Community Regional Force. The renewed violence seized the attention of regional leaders, with then Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta chairing a number of conclaves of peers in Nairobi, which resolved on deployment of regional military power to pacify the restive but mineral-rich Eastern Congo. Together, a further call for the declaration of Ituri, North Kivu, Bugusu, most parts of Petit Nord, Masisi, Lubero, Beni, Kasindi, main axis, and southern Kivu provinces a weapon-free zone where any individual or group carrying weapons outside the official and legally deployed and mandated off forces in the country will be disarmed. He said then while announcing activation of the regional force, with Kenya only deploying yesterday, in addition to Burundi and other member states either barred or yet to deploy troops. M23 rebels have nearly doubled Congolese territories under its control over past weeks. As I said, M23 rebels have nearly doubled captured Congolese territory under its control over past weeks. So it means it's just multiplying in its territories, which it's just conquering. So thing is, the Congolese have woken up and they're saying Uganda out, UPDF out, Operation Shuja should stop, and Rwandese soldiers out, Rwanda out. Just tell me what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button, and also share this message.